Psychologist I like to talk about is Hans J. Eysenck, 1916 to 1997. He's a British psychologist, also known as the behavioral psychologist, a staunch critic of psychoanalysis. He developed his own theory of personality and did a lot of work on human intelligence. He is known to have promoted the concept that quite a bit of our intelligence is biologically determined, and also formulated the concept of social intelligence to say that a large part of the intelligence that we use in terms of dealing with people is something that can be learnt. Of course, there are a lot of controversies in terms of Eysenck's own kind of a work, and it will be very interesting to follow his later theories on intelligence, in which I think he talked of mental speed as a component of intelligence, and he also talked of measuring to some extent parts of intelligence by using electric encephalogram (EEG). Uh, I'm not going into those details, but what I am impressed with Eysenck is his theory of personality. It is very simple to understand, and it is available in a Penguin book called Know Your Personality. Of course, Eysenck is known to have written a large number of books, and famous among them is Know Your Own IQ, Sense and Nonsense in Psychology, and things like that. But I'm used for a number of years is 1973 publication of Know Your Own Personality. In this, he particularly talks of two dimensions of personality: extroversion, introversion as one dimension, and neuroticism as another dimension. Now, even if you don't go to the neuroticism when you talk of the normal personality, the EI questionnaire is a 180 item questionnaire which uh, Eysenck has given. If I recollect, I think it is 110 items, not 180. But anyway, if you see the book, you will get it. He identified 7 important dimensions or components of extroversion and introversion. This is the most interesting kind of thing, and each dimension is measured by a 30 item questionnaire which we modified later. Uh, yeah, I think if it is 30 items, 7 dimensions, it is 210, not 180 or 110. 7 multiplied by 30 is about 210 item questionnaire. Very easy. I mean, you just have to answer each question by agreeing or disagreeing or doubtful. Now, these 7 dimensions are the most interesting dimensions of extroversion and introversion and deserve merit, and these are different than what I think MBTI talks about. The first dimension of Eysenck's EI, extroversion, introversion, particularly I think contributing to the extrovert tendencies, is activity level. In fact, we found that people who score high on activity level on this particular dimension also scored high in terms of their performance appraisals. This was according to a study done by Dr. Dalpat Sarupriya from MS University, Baroda, but he did this study for Gujarat University as a part of his doctoral work at the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. So he found this activity level is a very differentiating factor of high performers and low performers. The second dimension of extroversion is sociability, the extent to which you are sociable, you are happy, you go lucky, you mix with people and things like that. The third dimension is risk-taking behavior. The fourth dimension he talked about as a characterizing extroverts is impulsiveness. You act impulsively on the spot, spur of the moment, without thinking and so on. The fifth dimension is expressiveness. Partly, I think, sometimes also linked with a little bit of emotional stability. Expressiveness deals with your willingness to talk about yourself, to communicate, and so on. The sixth dimension is a reflectiveness. I think this is negatively correlated to extroversion. Introverts are a lot more reflective in terms of their own kind of a behavior and so on. The seventh dimension is the responsibility. Responsibility, the opposite of is feeling irresponsible and so on. I think these are very interesting concepts that H.J. Eysenck has given, and I have used this particular tool of Know Your Own Personality with a large number of executives, ask them to answer the questionnaire. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and we have shorter versions of it, and then give feedback and then talk of the implications of this and so on. So I think it's worthwhile knowing more about H.J. Eysenck and his work on both intelligence as well as personality, and try and get hold of this book, Know Your Own Personality, from the Penguin series. I think it still is available at many places. Very recently, I located it in one of the bookstores also in Bangalore. I'm sure you can get this from anywhere. So all the best, and nice knowing about H.J. Eysenck and his contribution to psychology. The only question that I have not discussed here is about its use of the use of this particular kind of set of dimensions in organizational diagnosis and organization development. I strongly believe that these tools can be modified to measure the organizational characteristic. You can also measure activity level of the organization, extent to which the organization is networked or sociable, extent to which the organization is risk-taking, extent to which the organization acts impulsively, extent to which the organization is expressive, extent to which the organization is reflective, and the extent to which the organization behaves in a responsible way. So Eysenck's these 7 dimensions of extroversion, introversion are very useful concepts in its application to understanding of organizations. So I hope in future one of you will be able to develop an interesting diagnostic tool using the behavioristic psychology of H.J. Eysenck. All the best from TVRLS.